There are so many things that God has in store for us. There's so many things that He see in us, that He's instilled in us, that we don't always see, and we're not always aware of. We're not too savvy on. I was listening to one of Michael Todd's sermons. He was talking about pornography. He was talking about just how easily it can destroy a lot of things subtly. It's not one of those things where it can wreak so much havoc and it's just sort of obvious how it does it and it's real direct how it does it. It doesn't work that way. It's one of those subtle and silent killers. A lot of men who deal with pornography, will never come up in the forefront and talk about it. They're a little ashamed about it because they're made to feel ashamed about it. I dealt with pornography. I dealt with pornography nearly my whole life. I'll say ever since I was like 9. Um, I was addicted to it, and it wasn't to the point where I had to watch it all day, every day, but I had to at least watch it once a day. Um, I was never the guy that sat in front of a computer or a phone all day just watching porn from sun up to sundown. That was never me. I just never had that kind of capacity for that. But each and every day, I would say I would watch it at least once or twice, or on an average of 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes or something like that. That was every day for me, from since I was 9 all the way into my adult years. Right now, I'm 32 years old and still, struggle and still battle with it. One of the things that Michael Todd was talking about was the steps leading up to not just pornography, but the perversion of it. He was saying that in those steps, there's going to be these are the steps here. Now, the last step, which is promise, we're going to go ahead and X that one out. He was saying that the steps leading up to the perversion of pornography or perversion from it will be prevision, permission, provision, and then the last one was perversion. He was saying that you have to go through each of these steps in order, in that order, in order for to open yourself up to the perversion of pornography. He was stating that in that last step, that's when you start to see people, you see all these different categories in pornography. You start to see people begin to just be a little too boundless with what they're willing to do and try. And those are some things that he was talking about. And he was saying that the same way that you stepped into it will be the same way that you would have to step out of it. And the only thing that would change would be that very last step, which would be promise. Instead of going from provision to perversion, when you stepping out of pornography, you're walking away from it and you're stepping into a new life outside of that. You're going to be stepping from provision into promise. Today, I want to talk to you guys about the first one, provision. And with this one, I feel that I had to vision myself differently. I had to see myself without it. I had to see myself no longer dealing with it. I had to see myself in a better light, in a better way. I had to visualize that for me. I had to visualize myself being more present with my family, with my friends, and not so focused on pornography, not so wrapped up in it. And it wasn't just the pornography, it was lust. I would be out in public and see a beautiful young lady, and instead of just looking and acknowledging that she's attractive, now I'm lusting. Now visualizing different things in my head like that. Um, and there's been some young ladies that I've met and that I've been with that it started with lust. And that's just it was just a space where you feel like you okay because you're not doing anything crazy. You having sex, you you lusting after this girl. She's a beautiful woman. So you feel like, in your mind, you don't feel like you're doing anything wrong. You're like, I'm not harming nobody. It's both consensual. We having a good time, and you think you okay. And so that's where the silent killer part comes in because you are doing so much based off of your lust instead of there actually being a real thing there, actually being love there. So I had to start visualizing myself being able to see a beautiful woman and not lust after her, not to get too wrapped up in how beautiful she is or how she's shaped or, you know, how all these different things. Like just learning how to be respectful, be cordial, um, to be kind and not to be kind to try to get something later, not to be um lustful and sort of, I don't say manipulative, but in a way, yeah, you're being kind, you're showing this kindness, you're showing this what looks like a genuine and sincere personality, and you're being a gentleman at this moment and all that for whatever end goal you may have for this person. And I had to start visualizing myself outside of that. And so that's why I had to start using Prevision. And it was rough. It was rough sitting down and trying to visually picture myself in a positive light. It's so much stuff that comes into our minds throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the months. We're back and forth, we're ripping and running. And it was just really hard for me to sit still, just meditate and visualize a better me. It was really hard to see that. It was easy to see the mistakes that I made. It's real easy for me to remember that, but just being able to mentally visualize a better Michael, I was struggling with that. Um, Eventually, I got it. Still working on it. I have my days where it's a lot easier. It's an ongoing thing. It's not a thing where I've arrived. I did it. I'm done. I completed all the steps. It's an ongoing thing. But I had to visualize me uh, just better, thinking clearer, doing better, acting better. Acting accordingly. Just the way I moved. Um, it took a while, but we're getting there and getting to the point where we're able to focus. It used to be a point in time where I would go to certain locations, and if it was a lot of women there and they look good, they shape nice, and stuff like that, it would just be hard for me to focus. No matter how hard I tried to focus, I just couldn't focus. And it would throw me off. Like I'll probably be working when I see these young ladies. And whatever job I was doing, I just be thrown off. Like I couldn't really focus and get my thoughts together, properly. I'm fumbling with things, and I just be thrown off because that lust would take up so much of my mind, would take up so much of my thought process. And yeah, so in this first step, I challenge you guys as well as myself to visualize yourself better. Whatever it is that you're struggling with or dealing with, it may not be lust or pornography or women or sex or anything like that at all. Whatever you're struggling with, visualize yourself better. Visualize a better version of yourself, a version of yourself where you're able to conquer whatever it is that you're dealing with. A version of yourself that is able to operate and not be thrown off or offset by whatever it is that you're dealing with, that you may be struggling with. And that's the word that I'm going to be focusing on, is just like visualizing. Picture yourself and visualize yourself better. And a lot of times we just struggle to see ourselves in a better light. So that's where I'm at with this right now, is, you know, prevision. How do you see yourself? What do you see yourself as? How are you visualizing yourself? And I'll come back and we'll talk more about the other steps as well. But this is all a learning process for me as well. I'm not on here speaking as if like I've arrived. This is literally in progress. What I mean? This is something that I've always struggled with. And I knew that pornography and lust and things like that would stifle good parts about me, stifle good characteristics, uh, things that help you obtain meaningful relationships and friendships, help you to network and place you before great people and establish good rapport. Stuff like lust and pornography definitely gets in the way of that, and it can stifle those moments, stifle those relationships, uh, and yeah, it can destroy those. And sometimes we don't think that it can. We think, oh, it's just that, it's not that serious, but it really can. Um, I'll probably leave this video unedited so that way, you guys can just see me, you know, straight up. Um, I do apologize if I say a whole lot. And yeah, that's it for this video. Like I said, prevision, taking time to visualize myself better, visualize myself stronger, more effective, not weak and struggling, and yeah, to visualize myself better. Um, he was saying that in the pornography, in that arena, prevision would come in because you would see something, and that's what would start it. He said you will see something, you will see a young lady, you will see an image, or you will see a movie scene or a video clip, and that's what starts it. And it's up to you to give yourself, your body, permission to continue to engage in whatever visual thought or whatever physical act or whatever that it was that set you off. It's up to you whether or not you answer that prevision, whether you adhere to that prevision or not. And so I'm in a process of saying, answering to different previsions that's presented. Saying no to one and visualizing and accepting a different one. And so this is going to be a journey. It's something, like I said, that I've always struggled with ever since I was about 8 or 9 years old. And that's when I got my first prevision of just women, a beautiful woman, in a beautiful woman's body. And that's when I got my first prevision of that. And it's been a struggle ever since then. And I don't want to make this lighthearted, make this seem chill, make this seem cool in any way. Pornography it destroyed so much in my life. There's so many good things in my life that I could have had, opportunities, networking, relationships, and pornography and just lust in general destroy a lot of that. And so it's a place you don't want to try to take lightly. You don't want to find yourself in trying to kick back and relax there and be lighthearted about it or make light of it. I don't want to make light of this at all because there's nothing light about it. It ruins so much. Um, and so we here step by step to looking to get rid of it as best as we can, one step at a time. with prevision, visualizing ourselves better. And you can apply this to any area of your life. I feel like these particular steps you can apply to any area, whether you're struggling with lust, money, with finances, with um, drugs, with being faithful, whatever it is you may be struggling with. Your health is just being consistent overall. Whatever you may be struggling with, I believe these same steps and applying these same steps can truly help. So this is where I am right now. I appreciate you guys dropping by and checking out the video. Um, as we just continue to improve, continue to self improve, continue to strive to be better, continue to follow Christ. I'll catch you guys later, man. Peace.